My hands trembled as I watched my husband of 4 years step onto the stage at the San Francisco Tech Summit. Ryan Mitchell, the brilliant startup founder everyone was talking about. My heart swelled with pride as he began his pitch, his voice confident and commanding. I had sacrificed everything for this moment. My career, my identity, my dreams. I had quit my position as a senior software engineer at a top firm to become his support system, his cheerleader, his unpaid assistant. But then he said something that made my blood run cold. I want to thank my partner, Victoria Chen, who made all of this possible. A stunning woman in a designer suit stepped onto the stage beside him. And I'm thrilled to announce that Victoria has agreed to be not just my business partner, but my life partner as well. The room erupted in applause. I sat frozen in my seat, 3 rows back, invisible. The diamond ring on my finger suddenly felt like a shackle. We weren't even divorced yet. Let me back up. My name is Sophia Chen, and this is the story of how I went from being a nobody to discovering I had all the power I ever needed. 4 years earlier, I had been a rising star in Silicon Valley. At 24, I was already making 6 figures, working on cutting-edge AI projects. But I had a secret. My father was Thomas Chen, CEO of Chen Technologies, one of the largest tech conglomerates in Asia. I had grown up with wealth, privilege, and expectations. When I came to America for grad school, I made a decision. I would hide my identity. I wanted to know if someone could love me for who I was, not what I had. That's when I met Ryan at a coffee shop near the university. He was passionate, driven, working on his startup idea between classes. He had no idea who I really was, and I liked it that way. We fell in love quickly. Within a year, we were married in a small ceremony. His mother, Margaret Mitchell, barely attended. She made it clear she thought her son was marrying beneath him. A software engineer, she had sniffed at our engagement dinner. How quaint. I hope you can at least support yourself, dear. I bit my tongue. If only she knew that my family's company had a larger market cap than most countries' GDP. But I was testing Ryan, testing whether our love was real. So when he asked me to quit my job to help him launch his startup full-time, I agreed. I told myself it was temporary. That, once the company was stable, I'd go back. I emptied my savings account, worked 16-hour days alongside him, handled operations, while he handled the vision. What I didn't tell him was that I had quietly arranged for my family's venture capital fund to be one of his early investors. Through shell companies and intermediaries, I funneled $3 million into his startup over 2 years. I told myself it was an investment in our future together. But somewhere along the way, things changed. Ryan started coming home later. First, it was investor meetings. Then it was strategic planning sessions. Then it was dinners with potential partners. I noticed Victoria's name coming up more and more. She was the daughter of David Hartwell, a billionaire investor who had recently put $10 million into the company. She's brilliant, Ryan would say, his eyes lighting up in a way they hadn't for me in months. She really gets the vision. I tried to be understanding. I reminded myself that I had chosen this path. I had chosen to be supportive, to be in the background. But the distance between us grew. Then came the night that changed everything. Ryan had left his laptop at home, something he never did. It was sitting on the kitchen counter, screen glowing. I wasn't planning to look. I'm not that person. But a notification popped up. A message from Victoria. Last night was incredible. I can't stop thinking about you. My world tilted. I stood there, staring at those words, feeling like I couldn't breathe. Then another message appeared. When are you going to tell her? We can't keep doing this. And Ryan's response? Soon. Once the Series B funding closes, I need to time it right. I closed the laptop carefully. My hands were steady, which surprised me. Inside, I was screaming, but outside, I was calm, calculating. I had learned something from my father over the years. When you discover betrayal, you don't react immediately. You plan. For 2 weeks, I gathered evidence. Screenshots, emails. I documented everything. I also did something else. I contacted my family's lawyers and financial advisors. For the first time in 4 years, I stopped pretending to be someone I wasn't. When I finally confronted Ryan, I did it on my terms. I want a divorce. I said simply. Over breakfast one Saturday morning. He looked up from his phone, surprised. What? Sophia, where is this coming from? I know about Victoria. His face went pale, then red. It's not what you think. I think you've been having an affair with your business partner. I think you've been planning to leave me once you secure more funding. Am I wrong? He couldn't meet my eyes. Sophia, I never meant to hurt you, but you did. I slid a folder across the table. I've made this easy for you. Sign the papers. I'm asking for $200,000. That's $50,000 for each year of marriage. I think that's fair, considering I gave up my career for you. He looked relieved, actually relieved, that I wasn't asking for more. That's very reasonable. Thank you for being mature about this. I wanted to laugh. Mature. If only he knew. His mother was less diplomatic when she heard the news. Finally, Margaret said when Ryan brought me to their family home to tell her, I always knew you weren't right for my son. Victoria is much more suitable. Her family has real money, real connections. Mother? Ryan said weakly. Oh, don't mother me. This girl was always holding you back. At least now you can marry someone who can actually help your career instead of dragging it down. I smiled politely. I'm sure you'll be very happy together. What I didn't tell them was that I was already 2 weeks pregnant. I had found out 3 days after I discovered the affair. I had been feeling nauseous, tired. I took a test, and there it was. 2 pink lines. A baby. Ryan's baby. I sat on the bathroom floor and cried for hours, trying to decide what to do. Part of me wanted to tell him, to use it as leverage, but a stronger part of me knew the truth. If I told him, I would be tied to him forever, to his betrayal, to his mother's cruelty, to Victoria's smug face. I made a decision that day. I would have this baby alone. I would never tell Ryan. He had forfeited his right to be a father when he chose his ambition over our marriage. The divorce was finalized within 8 weeks. Ryan was eager to move forward with his new life. He transferred the $200,000, which I immediately put into a trust account. On the day we signed the final papers, he actually thanked me. You're handling this really well, he said. I hope we can still be friends. I smiled. Of course. Victoria was there waiting for him outside the lawyer's office. She was already showing, her hand resting on her small baby bump. She was pregnant too. About 4 months along, from what I could tell. So he had gotten both of us pregnant. The irony wasn't lost on me. I moved into a modest apartment in Oakland, paid cash, and started my new life. Or rather, my real life. I video called my father for the first time in months. Sophia, his face filled with concern on the screen. Are you all right? You look thin. I'm pregnant, Dad. And I'm getting divorced. There was a long pause. Then, tell me what you need. I need you to help me hide. For a while longer. There's something I need to do. My father was a shrewd businessman. He understood revenge better than anyone. What's the plan? Ryan's company. How much of it does our fund own? Through various entities, about 18%. We're the second largest shareholder after the Hartwell investment. I want you to quietly acquire more. Use different shell companies. Don't let anyone connect it back to us. And I want you to put me on the board of Chen Technologies. It's time I took my place in the family business. My father smiled. Welcome back, daughter. Over the next 8 months, I lived 2 lives. Publicly, I was Sophia Chen, quiet divorcee, living alone in Oakland. I went to prenatal appointments by myself. I assembled the crib by myself. I attended birthing classes alone, lying when asked where my partner was. But privately, I was transforming. I had conference calls with our legal team. I reviewed acquisition proposals. I learned every aspect of our business. And I watched as Chen Technologies quietly accumulated shares in Ryan's startup, now called Nexus AI. By my 3rd trimester, we owned 32% of the company. We were the majority shareholder, though no one knew it. The shares were distributed across 20 different entities, all carefully structured to avoid detection. I also watched from afar as Ryan's perfect new life unfolded. He and Victoria got married in a lavish ceremony in Napa Valley. The photos were all over social media. Margaret looked ecstatic, finally having the daughter-in-law she wanted. Victoria gave birth to a baby girl in February. They named her Harper. Ryan posted about it constantly. My beautiful daughter, blessed to be a father. Victoria is an amazing mother. Each post was a knife in my heart, but I used the pain as fuel. I was 8 months pregnant when I made my move. I had my lawyer send a letter to Ryan's company. Chen Technologies was interested in acquiring Nexus AI. We wanted to schedule a meeting to discuss terms. Ryan was thrilled, from what I heard. Chen Technologies was a major player. This acquisition could make him incredibly wealthy. Set him up for life. The meeting was scheduled for March 15th. I was 36 weeks pregnant, but I planned to attend virtually from my apartment. My father would represent our interests in person, but fate had other plans. On March 14th, at 3 a.m., my water broke. I was in labor. Alone. I called a cab, grabbed my hospital bag, and made my way to San Francisco General. The contractions were intense, coming every few minutes. I checked in, was assigned a room, and tried to focus on breathing through the pain. The nurse checked my chart. It looks like you're alone today. Is there anyone we can call? No, I said through gritted teeth. Just me. You're very brave, she said kindly. The labor progressed quickly. Too quickly. Within 2 hours, I was fully dilated. The baby was coming. And that's when the universe decided to have the last laugh. The door to my room opened, and a familiar figure walked in. Dr. Sarah Chen, an old colleague from my software engineering days. She was wearing scrubs. Sophia? Oh my God, is that you? She rushed over. I had no idea you were pregnant. Sarah, what are you doing here? I'm covering for Dr. Martinez today. I finished my MD 2 years ago, decided medicine was my calling after all. She squeezed my hand. Don't worry, you're in good hands. Now let's have this baby. Having a familiar face made all the difference. Sarah coached me through the pushing, encouraged me, held my hand. And at 6:47 a.m. on March 14th, I gave birth to a healthy baby boy. 6 pounds, 3 ounces, perfect tiny fingers and toes, dark hair, like his father. But his eyes, when he opened them, were all mine. He's beautiful, Sarah said, placing him on my chest. Have you chosen a name? Alexander, I whispered. Alexander Chen. I held my son and felt something shift inside me. All the pain, all the anger, all the need for revenge, it didn't disappear, but it became secondary. This little human was my priority now. Sarah checked on us regularly throughout the day. Around noon, she came in looking concerned. Sophia, there's someone here asking about you. He says he's your ex-husband? My heart stopped. What? Apparently, someone at the admitting desk recognized your name and mentioned it to him. He was here visiting a potential investor in the building and overheard. Should I send him away? Before I could answer, Ryan pushed past her into the room. He stopped dead when he saw me holding Alexander. Sophia, he breathed. You had a baby? I looked at him coolly. Obviously. Is he? Mine, I said firmly. He's mine. Ryan's face went through several emotions. Shock, confusion, hurt, anger. You were pregnant when we got divorced? Yes. And you didn't tell me? Why would I? You were too busy with Victoria and your perfect new life. He stepped closer, his eyes on Alexander. That's not fair. He's my son. I had a right to know. You had a right? My voice was ice. You lost your rights when you betrayed our marriage. When you chose ambition over family. When you let your mother humiliate me while you stood there silent. I made mistakes. I know that. But this is different. This is a child. My child. Sarah intervened. I think you should leave. Sophia needs rest. But Ryan wasn't listening. He was staring at Alexander with an expression I couldn't quite read. Was it regret? Longing? Or was it just possessiveness? I'm not leaving, he said. We need to talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. Please go. Sophia, be reasonable. I'm his father. I deserve to be part of his life. Like you're part of Harper's life? The words came out bitter. How is your daughter, by the way? And your wife? He flinched. Don't what? Don't remind you that you have another family. That you moved on so quickly you probably don't even remember our marriage. That's not true. I think about you. About us. Well, stop. I don't want your thoughts. I don't want your regrets. I just want you to leave. Sarah put her hand on Ryan's arm. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to go. This is a medical facility, and you're causing stress to my patient. Ryan looked like he wanted to argue more, but something in Sarah's expression must have convinced him. He backed toward the door, his eyes never leaving Alexander. This isn't over, Sophia. He's my son. I have rights. We'll see about that, I said quietly. After he left, I started shaking. Sarah sat beside me, holding my hand. Are you okay? He's going to try to take him from me, I whispered. He's going to fight for custody. Let him try. You're Alexander's mother. You're the one who went through pregnancy alone. You're the one who's here. The law will be on your side. But I knew Ryan. Once he decided he wanted something, he didn't give up, and now he knew about Alexander. My secret was out. I stayed in the hospital for 2 days. During that time, I got no fewer than 15 calls from Ryan, all of which I ignored. I also got calls from my father, checking on me and his grandson, and one call from Margaret. I answered that one. How dare you, she hissed. How dare you trap my son like this? I'm sorry? What? Getting pregnant to secure a payout. It's disgusting. I laughed. Actually laughed. Margaret, I didn't tell Ryan about the pregnancy. In fact, I planned never to tell him. He found out by accident. I don't believe you. This is all a scheme to get money from him. Believe what you want. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a baby to feed. I hung up on her, feeling oddly liberated. When I was finally discharged, I went home to my apartment with Alexander. My father had arranged for a night nurse for the first few weeks, which I was grateful for. Those early days were a blur of feedings, diaper changes, and exhaustion. But through it all, I was planning. The meeting between Chen Technologies and Nexus AI had been postponed due to my hospitalization. It was rescheduled for April 1st, April Fool's Day. The irony was perfect. I spent the next 2 weeks preparing. I had conference calls with our legal team, reviewed every detail of the acquisition proposal, and made sure everything was in order. I also hired the best family lawyer in California to handle the inevitable custody battle with Ryan. On March 30th, I got a formal letter from Ryan's lawyer. He was filing for paternity testing and joint custody of Alexander. The letter accused me of hiding the pregnancy deliberately and claimed I was an unfit mother for denying Ryan his parental rights. I read it calmly, then handed it to my lawyer. Respond that we're happy to do paternity testing and that we'll see him in court. On April 1st, I strapped 2-week-old Alexander into his car seat and drove to San Francisco. My father had arranged for a private office in our building where I could nurse and care for Alexander during the meeting. I had a nanny there to help. I dressed carefully that morning. A tailored black suit, my hair pulled back, minimal jewelry except for a jade bracelet my mother had given me. I looked like what I was, a tech executive, a Chen. The meeting was scheduled for 10 a.m. At 9:45, I walked into the conference room on the 47th floor of Chen Tower. Ryan was already there, along with Victoria, his CFO, and his legal team. He looked surprised to see me. Sophia, what are you doing here? I smiled. I work here. You, what? I took my seat at the head of the table. My father sat to my right, our lead counsel to my left. Let me introduce myself properly, I said. I'm Sophia Chen, Executive Vice President of Chen Technologies and daughter of CEO Thomas Chen. I'll be leading today's acquisition discussion. Ryan's face went white. Victoria looked confused. His CFO started frantically flipping through papers. That's impossible, Ryan stammered. You're a software engineer. You worked at? I was a software engineer. I also happen to be an heiress to a multi-billion-dollar tech company. Surprise. You lied to me, he whispered. I omitted information. There's a difference. You never asked about my family. You assumed because I was willing to support your dreams that I had none of my own. Victoria finally spoke up. Why are you here? This is a business meeting. It certainly is. Chen Technologies would like to acquire Nexus AI. We're prepared to offer $40 million for full acquisition. Ryan's CFO nearly jumped out of his seat. $40 million? That's insulting. Our valuation is over $200 million. I smiled. Your valuation is based on projections that frankly aren't realistic. But I'm willing to negotiate. Shall we review your financials? For the next hour, we went through their books. I had done my homework. I pointed out every inflated metric, every optimistic assumption, every risk they had downplayed to investors. The truth is, I said finally, Nexus AI is burning through cash faster than you're generating revenue. You have 18 months of runway left at most. You need this acquisition. Ryan found his voice. We can get other offers. Can you? Let's talk about your investor structure. I nodded to my father, who pulled up a presentation. Chen Technologies, through various investment entities, owns 32% of your company. The Hartwell investment is 25%. The remaining 43% is split among smaller investors. By our calculation, Chen Technologies is now your majority shareholder. The room went silent. That's impossible, Victoria said. We would have known. Not if the shares were acquired through shell companies and structured carefully to avoid disclosure thresholds. Which they were. I looked directly at Ryan. I've been investing in your company since the beginning. Every major funding round, we were there. You just didn't know it was me. Ryan looked like he'd been slapped. Why? Because I believed in you. In us. I wanted our future to be secure. You manipulated me. I supported you. There's a difference. I gave you the capital you needed to succeed. The fact that you didn't know where it came from doesn't change that. Margaret would have been proud of my performance if she weren't busy looking horrified. So what happens now? Ryan's lawyer asked. You own the majority. You can force a sale. I could, I agreed. Or we could come to a different arrangement. Here's my proposal. Chen Technologies acquires 70% of Nexus AI for $50 million. Ryan, you remain as CEO with a 10-year contract. Victoria, you stay on as COO. We provide additional capital for expansion and leverage our network for growth. Everyone wins. It was a generous offer, far better than they could get anywhere else. And they knew it. I need time to think, Ryan said. You have 24 hours. After that, the offer drops to $40 million and you're out as CEO. I stood, gathering my materials. Gentlemen, lady, thank you for your time. My assistant will send over the formal proposal this afternoon. As I walked toward the door, Ryan called out, Sophia, wait! I turned. Did you plan all of this? The divorce, the pregnancy, this acquisition? I considered the question. No, Ryan. I didn't plan on you cheating. I didn't plan on getting pregnant. And I certainly didn't plan on raising our son alone. But when life gave me those circumstances, I adapted. That's what survivors do. I want to see him. Alexander. We can discuss that through our lawyers. Right now, we're here for business. I left them sitting there, stunned. That evening, Ryan called me directly. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. I accept your offer, he said without preamble. Smart choice. Can we talk? About Alexander? I sighed. What do you want to say? I want to be his father. I know I messed up with us, with everything, but he's my son. I missed Harper's early days because I was so focused on work. I don't want to make the same mistake twice. Harper is your daughter. You see her every day. There was a pause. Actually, I don't. What? Victoria and it's not what I thought it would be. She's focused on her own career now. Harper is with nannies most of the time. Victoria says it's necessary, that we both have to work. But I feel like I'm missing everything. I felt a small twist of satisfaction, followed immediately by guilt. Harper was an innocent child in all this. That sounds difficult. It is. My mother keeps telling me this is how successful people live, that quality time matters more than quantity. But I look at Harper and I feel like a stranger to her. What do you want from me, Ryan? I want another chance. Not with us. I understand that's over. But with Alexander. Let me be his father. The kind of father I should have been. I looked at my son, sleeping peacefully in his bassinet beside me. He deserved to know his father, didn't he? Even if that father had broken my heart? We'll do paternity testing first, I said, and we'll set up a custody arrangement through the lawyers. Supervised visits at first. Thank you, Sophia. Don't thank me yet. The moment you hurt him, the moment you choose your ambition over his well-being, I will destroy you. Do you understand? Yes. And Ryan, your mother is never to be alone with my son. Agreed. The paternity test confirmed what we both knew. Alexander was Ryan's son. We set up a custody arrangement, supervised visits twice a week for the first 3 months. Then we'd reevaluate. The acquisition of Nexus AI went through in May. Chen Technologies took controlling interest, and I joined their board of directors. Ryan remained CEO, but now he answered to me. Our first board meeting was awkward, to say the least. Victoria barely looked at me. Ryan was professional but distant. His other board members treated me with cautious respect. Let's talk about the product roadmap, I said, taking control of the meeting. Your AI models are impressive, but you're not monetizing effectively. Here's what I propose. I spent the next hour detailing a comprehensive strategy to scale the business. I wasn't just playing executive. I actually knew what I was talking about. This was my field, after all. By the end of the meeting, even Victoria looked grudgingly impressed. That's actually brilliant, she admitted. The enterprise licensing model could triple our revenue. I know, I said simply. After the meeting, Ryan lingered. You're really good at this, he said. I always was. You just never asked. I'm sorry. For everything. I know. Can I see him today? It's my day. I checked my phone. Yes. Come by at 6. Be on time. He was early. Alexander was 4 months old by then, starting to smile and coo. Ryan held him carefully, like he was made of glass. He looks like you, Ryan said softly. He has your nose. Does he sleep through the night yet? Sometimes. Not usually. We sat in awkward silence, watching Alexander grab at Ryan's finger. Victoria and I are having problems, Ryan said suddenly. I don't need to know that. She wants a divorce. Says the marriage was a mistake. She's moving to New York for a job opportunity. And Harper? She's taking her. I'll have visitation rights. He looked broken. I'm losing everyone. I felt a complicated mix of emotions. Satisfaction that his perfect life wasn't so perfect. Sympathy because I knew how much divorce hurt. And fear because a desperate Ryan might fight harder for custody of Alexander. What about your mother? I asked. She's furious at Victoria. Says she's abandoning the family. The irony isn't lost on me. And what do you say? I say I'm getting what I deserve. Karma, right? I don't believe in karma. I believe in consequences. Over the next few months, Ryan's life fell apart in stages. Victoria filed for divorce and moved to New York with Harper. Margaret had a mild stroke, likely from the stress, and had to step back from her social commitments. Ryan threw himself into work, but his heart wasn't in it. Meanwhile, Alexander thrived. He started sleeping better, smiling more, reaching milestones. And Ryan, to his credit, showed up for every single visit. He learned how to change diapers, how to burp him, how to soothe him when he cried. You're good at this, I told him one evening, watching him rock Alexander to sleep. I wish I had been better sooner. With you, I mean. We can't change the past. No. But we can do better going forward. In September, something unexpected happened. During a routine board meeting for Nexus AI, Ryan announced he wanted to step down as CEO. I've been thinking about this for a while, he said. I'm not the right person to lead this company anymore. I recommend we bring in someone with more operational experience. Victoria, who had joined via video call from New York, looked shocked. So did the rest of the board. Ryan, are you sure? I asked. I'm sure. I want to spend more time with my kids, both of them. Harper visits once a month, and I have Alexander 3 days a week now. I don't want to miss any more of their childhood. It was the first genuinely selfless thing I had heard him say in years. We accepted his resignation and began the search for a new CEO. Ryan stayed on as Chief Technology Officer, a role that suited him better. Less pressure, more creativity, better hours. And something shifted between us. Not romance, that door was permanently closed, but respect, partnership, co-parenting that actually worked. One evening in October, Ryan came to pick up Alexander for his weekend visit. We had graduated to unsupervised time months ago. Can we talk? He asked. About? Everything. He sat down heavily on my couch. I've been in therapy. A lot of therapy. And I've realized some things. Oh? I married you because you made me feel safe. You supported me without asking for anything in return. But I didn't know how to appreciate that. I thought love meant grand gestures and passion, like what I had with Victoria, but that burned out fast. With you, it was steady, reliable, real. And I threw it away because I was too stupid to see the value. I didn't know what to say. I'm not asking you to take me back, he continued. I know that's not happening, but I want you to know that I see it now. I see everything you sacrificed, everything you gave me, and I'm sorry I was too blind to see it when it mattered. Thank you for saying that. There's something else. He pulled out a folder. My mother has been draining money from the family trust. I just found out. She was using it to fund her lifestyle, to bail out some bad investments. There's going to be a legal investigation. Ryan, I'm sorry. Don't be. It explains a lot, actually. Why she was so focused on me marrying someone wealthy, why she pushed Victoria so hard. She needed access to money. What are you going to do? Cooperate with the investigators, make restitution where I can, and cut her out of my life. She's not going to be around Alexander or Harper anymore. That's a hard decision. It's the right one. He looked at me seriously. You were protecting Alexander when you said she couldn't be alone with him. You saw what she was before I did. We sat in silence for a moment. Sophia, can I ask you something? Sure. Do you think you'll ever forgive me? I considered the question carefully. I think I already have. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or pretending it didn't hurt. It means I'm not carrying the anger anymore. I'm letting it go. That's generous of you. It's not generous. It's necessary. For Alexander, for me, holding on to anger would only hurt us both. He nodded. You're an amazing mother. And an amazing person. I hope someone sees that and appreciates it the way I should have. I'm not looking for anyone. Why not? Because I'm complete. Alexander and I, we're a family. We're happy. I don't need a relationship to feel whole. And it was true. Somewhere along the way, I had stopped waiting for someone to complete me. I had found my own strength, my own purpose. Not in revenge, though that had been satisfying, but in building a life I was proud of. 3 months later, I was promoted to Senior Vice President at Chen Technologies. I was the youngest person to ever hold the position. My father was grooming me to eventually take over the company. Ryan and I developed a comfortable co-parenting routine. Alexander spent 3 days a week with him, 4 with me. Ryan rearranged his entire life to be present. He moved to a family-friendly neighborhood, learned to cook healthy meals, took Alexander to the park every weekend. Victoria remarried in New York and sent Ryan an olive branch. She agreed to let Harper spend summers and holidays with him. I helped him set up the guest room for her, bought pink bedding and toys. When Harper visited that first summer, she was shy and tentative. But Alexander's joy at having a sister melted her walls. By the end of the month, they were inseparable. Thank you, Ryan said, watching them play together. For being so gracious about all this. They're siblings. They should know each other. I mean it. You could have made this so much harder. You have every right to. I chose the high road. Not for you. For Alexander. Margaret reached out once, asking to see her grandson. I declined. Ryan supported my decision. She sent gifts occasionally, which I donated. I wouldn't let her toxicity anywhere near my son. By the time Alexander turned 2, my life looked nothing like I'd imagined 4 years earlier. I was a single mother, a senior executive, and surprisingly at peace. I had learned that strength comes not from avoiding pain, but from surviving it. That power isn't about controlling others, but about controlling your own narrative. Ryan and I would never be together again, and that was okay. We had found something better than romance. We had found respect, partnership, and a shared commitment to raising our son. Sometimes people ask me if I regret hiding my identity from Ryan at the beginning, if I wish I had told him the truth from the start. But I don't, because hiding who I was taught me who he was. And while the revelation was painful, it was also necessary. I learned that love isn't about what someone can do for you, it's about who they are when you have nothing to offer. Ryan failed that test, but in failing it, he gave me the greatest gift. He gave me the chance to discover my own strength. I look at Alexander now, playing with his blocks on the living room floor, and I know I made the right choices. Every single one. The hard ones, the painful ones, the ones that required me to stand alone. Because in the end, I wasn't alone. I had myself. And that was enough. If you made it to the end of my story, I hope you take this with you. Never make yourself small for someone else. Never hide your light to make someone comfortable. And never, ever believe that you need someone else to be complete. You are enough, just as you are.